Hey everybody, welcome back to Earth and Star Spiritual Wellness Center and back to Embodied Astrology with Dwight. How are you,
Yes,
Dwight?
I am wonderful, wonderful. Glad to be back.
We love it when you come around because you're going to just tell us some wonderful things, some glorious things. And this time you're telling us wonderful, glorious things about Cancer season.
Yes.
All of my mamas out there, all of my sisters, and we're going to avoid the word crybaby. We're not going to say that.
Yes, avoid the stereotypes.
Well, we talked about that last time. We're breaking down those stereotypes, turning it into something real.
Hmm.
And we're going to get through Cancer season and we're going to do it fast and quick, just like lesbians when they meet, you know? So what's going on in Cancer season? What can we expect in July?
So, real quick, before I get into that, I want to do a disclaimer real quick. So, if you have followed all along before, no, it's nothing bad.
Okay.
If you've been following all the videos along, you'll notice that I'm always talking mainly about like identity and power dynamics and pretty much choosing your self energy. And I want to say that real quick because even though we have certain planets that are more active and frequent, kind of like the moon, which like changes signs every 2.5 days, we have more outer, larger planets that are affecting us right now, and they don't change for like years. So the biggest one right now is Saturn in Aries. And of course, Aries is the sign of power. I'm sorry. No.
Who's
Um,
that?
it's my cat.
Let him in. Let him in. He's got things to say. We've got a card reading cat over here that helps me on Thursdays. Knocks over the computer and stuff. She's so cute. Oh
Well,
my
thank you.
god.
Thank
Okay.
you.
What's the
Okay.
kitty's name?
This is Sunny.
Sunny. Okay. Sunny wants to tell us about Saturn and Aries.
All right. So Saturn is in Aries. That means that we're going to constantly be talking about themes around responsibilities, around independence, around power dynamics, specifically power dynamics that relate the self versus the other. And when I say the other, that could mean either other people or like the other self, your shadow self. But when I talk about the shadow self, I like to call it our underdeveloped side. Because most people, when they hear shadow self, they think, oh, I need to cut this off. This is a part of me that I shouldn't have. But you need to integrate that side of you to become whole.
Right.
So that's the most important thing going on for like all the way till April 2028. And it's going to be around those specific type of things. And that's important to learn who you are, because if you're having troubles trying to figure out who you want to be, what career you should take, if you're around the right people, if you're doing the right things, starting with knowing who you are is like the ultimate first step ever. And that's also important because the other planet right now that's influencing us is Neptune in Aries. And Neptune steps in and it puts an illusion over the self. So you really want to be able to stand in who you are to make sure that other people and other things do not detour you from your goals and from who you are. Because when you put these together, Neptune gives you the dream, Saturn gives you the discipline. You had a discipline to actually enact and complete your dreams. So that means back when Aries, when we first started, we were choosing our identity, trying to find out who you are. Then Taurus came, you were able to actually create consistent patterns to anchor who you are. Then Gemini came to express it, and you're able to try to find out why am I the way I am and why do I want to be who I want to be. Then Cancer came, and you were trying to feel, actually put that into your body, actually know what it is to be that kind of person. And then we had the summer solstice and the full moon in Sagittarius, and that was an illumination period. The sun was at its highest peak. I don't know what you want right now. I
So
think
let's
she's
do
hungry.
it.
um, what was I saying? The sun's at its highest peak. Um, and we know that light and the sun is all about truth. So you're learning your complete truth. And this is almost like, because it's in Cancer, it's a water sign. This is almost like coming into the night, looking into a pond, and you see a reflection of yourself. Because this is lunar water. So this is like, it's at nighttime, the moon is out, but it's still summer solstice. So you're literally looking down at this reflection of yourself, and you're trying to tell yourself, everything I've done, everything I'm becoming, who I am right now, is this who I want to be? Is this the ultimate goal of where I want to stand. And as you try to sit with that reflection, this is like mommy daddy energy. The sun is the dad, the moon was the mom. Both of them are sitting you down and saying, where do you want to be? Are you in the right career? Are you in the right goals? Do you have the right people around you? Are you doing the right things? And then we had the Mercury retrograde, which ended in Cancer. That's how we ended June. And it was telling us, sit with this. And then we come into July, where we're still Cancer. We're still feeling it. We're still trying to take in everything of what it means to feel. And that leads us into the first major planetary. She's very distracting. Placement, which would be July 14th. We have the new moon in Cancer. That means more emotions. So that means around this time, the crazy thing about this is when there is a new moon, that means new intentions. We're going to set a new goal. But this is still water sign, kind of like when we were in Pisces. So we're not going to really be about action. This is going to be a kind of like a, hey, I want you to keep this in mind type of thing. And this is the part of Cancer that most people don't always realize, but Cancer is about the home. Cancer is about security. It's about nurturing. It's about emotions. So with that also being in a water sign, we know that water is memory. Water holds all types of memory. So this new moon is going to be more about going into your ancestral roots. It's going to be telling you, as you try to find out who you are, as you're discovering this person that you want to be, why not go deeper into your actual lineage? And that's going to be very important around this time because it's going to actually uncover your deeper blessings, your spiritual insights, what things you have inherited, whether it's been honestly trauma or good things.
And both, probably.
Yes.
But that's so interesting because I've been guided for a long time to create this ancestral trip through like my grandparents and my parents and the places that they've lived, and even my husband's side of the family and places his family's from. And so I have all these places in my mind where we're going to be traveling over the next couple of years. And the first stop happens to be at the beginning of July. That's when we're starting this trip.
Ooh, okay.
Of course, I don't know any of this stuff until you tell me, but the guides always know and get us moving in the right direction. So ancestral blessings. I love that because what I love about our ancestors is that on one hand, they've been through things that they weren't able to heal in their lifetime, but then pass those imprints down to us. So it can be our job to break those chains and then claim the power in the healing and then carry that forward. But then on the other hand, our ancestors have been through so many more things than we have. And they've been through those things and already claimed that power and claimed those gifts so that we don't have to go through those things in order to claim the gift and the wisdom. It's kind of like you don't really have wisdom or know that power about anything until you've experienced the thing, Someone can tell you something, you can have the knowledge, but it doesn't turn into that embodied wisdom until you go through it and experience it. But our ancestors are like, look, I've done this for you. I've already made the path. I've already done the thing. It's in your DNA. All you have to do is tap in and embody that. And then you don't have to go through so many hard, difficult things to have the wisdom of the gifts that they bring and the power that they hold.
Right, exactly.
Ancestral stuff is pretty big. It's big.
That's what I was about to say. Especially anyone who's done the shamanic wheel knows that part is a very intense part. I think I'm still working on that part. So, you said yes.
I created a new slogan, right?
What's that?
Me and talking with a couple of the students, we've created a slogan, and it says, "Don't get stuck in the West." That's the slogan. Don't get stuck in the West. You still have the North and the East to go. Because I feel like so many people, for those who don't know what we're talking about, the medicine wheel is something I teach, and you start in the South with core wounds, then move to the West with ancestral wounds and gifts, and then the North, where you're learning how to shift timelines, and then the East, which is destiny. But the West is such a big space of overcoming fear, of overcoming duality, so that we don't have separation and enemies and things like that, claiming your ancestral gifts, healing the ancestral line, mirrors, shadow work, projections, all of that stuff is jammed into the West. And I feel like so many of us spiritually just get stuck in, well, everything's a mirror, so I must be the problem every time something's happening, rather than moving forward and empowerment at some point. or just stuck in the having to overcome fear and the fear cycles, or like there's just a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't stuck it. We have to move forward with it and into embodiment and empowerment. But this does kind of feel like a West space a little bit in July, maybe. I want to expound a little bit on the Cancer. Because when we think of Cancer, that's really what comes up is emotion. Cancer's emotion. Can we deepen that? Do you have a different perspective of Cancer, since we're going to have a Cancer sun and a Cancer moon?
Well, really, it's just like Cancer is that emotional depth. This is already ruled by the moon, which is lunar, and that has a whole lot to do with water itself. And then the fact that it is just a water sign, it's just once we get through the medicine wheel, not the medicine wheel, I'm stuck on the medicine wheel now, the zodiac wheel, is we start in fire. That's the initial spark. That's you trying to go out there. That's the passion. Then we get into earth. That's Taurus. It's time for you to slow down, try to be a little bit more consistent. Then we have air for you to be above, try to look at what's been going on, the patterns from a more philosophical point of view. She's just really hungry. and so Cancer is very important when it comes in, because people tend to forget that we are emotional beings. And I think that people constantly want to feel like that's a weakness. And that's what Cancer is trying to come in and say, no, it really is not. Cancer is actually a very powerful, this is actually very funny. This sounds kind of bad, but I actually did a research one time that was talking about like what's the highest amount of serial killers. Cancer, what's the main one? Because most people think it's Scorpio. And I just thought that was funny that actually, no, it's Cancer.
I would have guessed Scorpio. Yeah.
And they're actually the least. Like, it was, but yeah, that just has to do with the fact that Cancer is very, very powerful. It is something very, very powerful about the maternal figure in all throughout spirituality and history. And that person who's willing to stand there, be strong, because it is the matriarch, it's the home, it's the security, it's the crab. So it's very protective of everything it has, everything it owns, everything is built. And because it's built on those ancestral roots, it's trying to bring all that up now. And I was about to say, when you said don't get stuck in the West, it's very important that with this emotional time to not get stuck in the push and pull of all those emotions. And I also found that very, very funny that you said that, because one thing that's also very, very important right now is to not get stuck in all of those emotions. You really need balance. That's when you need to employ all the other elements before. That's why the opposite of Cancer is Capricorn. You need earth energy, because earth energy is like that rock on the shore that stands strong when the waves are coming. You have the air energy, which is like the sky above the sea. That's literally looking above, like even as everything's coming in and happening, I'm above this. It's not affecting me. And then you even have fire energy, which is the important of momentum. And you need to not let that water put that fire out. And I was going to say that because that is the importance of the summer solstice that just happened. That is why I believe that even though it is a very fiery energy, it's happening in a water sign, because you need to indulge in those water elements without letting it stop you, without becoming passive.
Something's coming up, and I'm not sure what it is. I feel it. It's like and I see it in the imagery of a moving stream, and there's a rock stuck somewhere, and the rock just wants to be lifted because I feel like there's something to get to here. And it has been a strange day. I woke up with a little bit of like panic of, okay, I need to change this. Got it. Like even my son was like walking in circles when he was getting ready. Like he had no idea where he was. It was strange. And there were turtles. I'm like driving around the neighborhood and there's turtles. I keep having to like pick them up and take them to the woods because they're trying to all move in the same direction towards the highway. One of them was a very large snapping turtle with moss all over his back. And I was like, I'm not going to move him. I drove around him. I didn't hit him. So like strange energy this morning, but it's like, there are signs that we obviously like to pick on. I like to pick on a Gemini. I like to pick on. I don't pick on Cancer, right? But like you said, a lot of people, when they think of Cancer, they think of that emotion. And then it's almost viewed as weak or just feminine. Feminine. It's a feminine energy. But I feel like knowing myself, because we talked about this last time where I'm the Leo sun, so I'm able to like get up and speak and connect and perform and do what I need to do. The Capricorn moon is what I am, and then I'm the Cancer rising. But if I'm being honest, every time that I've had to be hard, every time I've had to be protective, anytime I've seen straight through somebody's crap and had to call them on it, even when everyone else around me thought I was being crazy, I think that was my Cancer. Like that's my Cancer stepping in and saying, that's not authentic. That's not real. That's not what they're really feeling. Read between the lines of what's happening here. Protect your space. And so I've had to step in and be like, no, absolutely not. And everyone's like, you're being crazy. You're being mean. That was my Cancer saying, no, I'm just the mom. And I've been here. And I know what this is. And this isn't going to touch something I've built. They have no power here. There's like this power. Like you said, there's you said the word strength and power. And I like how you said Cancer is the emotional depth. You didn't just say emotion. You said Cancer is the emotional depth. It's the treasure beneath the surface. When you get to the bottom of the ocean, that's where the treasure is. It's not up on the shore where everyone's picked through the seashells already and what's left is broken and crushed. Cancer is where the treasure lies. It's deep, deep, deep in those emotional depths. And when you get to the depths, you're not getting the white water. You're not getting the riffraff. You're not getting the huge wave and the push and the pull that's on the surface of water. In the emotional depths, it's calm. It's clear. It's lit up. It's treasured. It's something completely different than the energy up here, which can be white water, which can be calm, which can be a steady flow. I think that is what changes. But the depth of the water always stays the same. So they have, even if you don't have the fire energy or the earth energy in your top three, if you can get to the depth of your emotion, you have a steadiness that's there.
Yeah, true. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Cancer is a cardinal sign. And so like all the signs, there's like 3 modalities that the whole zodiac is kind of put in categories as. There's cardinal, mutable, and fixed. Fixed energy is, of course, the ones that's just like steady, like this is me, this is what I'm going to think, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to stay the course. Mutable are a lot more flexible. This is like the Sagittarius and Pisces, where it's just like, I made up my mind, but I can change it and as kind of things happen and occur. But cardinal is the initiators, the start, the spark. These are the ones that start the 4 seasons. And Cancer starts summer. It is a cardinal. It's going to initiate in its emotion. Aries will use its fire to initiate, and Cancer is going to use its emotion to initiate. It's going to come from that emotional depth and then use that as a power fuel.
And that's how you know something's real.
Yes.
Like we do this in healing where you have the spark of maybe an affirmation, right? Here's the
Mhm.
affirmation for you to work with, but it doesn't actually become real and make
Mhm.
change for the person. Or even if this is something you want to manifest, you can say what you want to manifest, but it doesn't become real or begin to manifest until you attach your emotion to it, because that's
Yes.
where your energy is. That's the pull. That's the actual movement towards something becoming and being created.
Mhm. Oh my God, I forgot. I actually put in my notes that exact thing. I forgot I was talking about that. Because I was like, it's not enough to just say, to wake up every day, look in the mirror, like, I'm beautiful. I'm amazing. I'm the baddest person in the world. Like, you have to walk in that. You have to feel that. And
Mhm.
that energy, that power, that's what real manifestation, that's what people mean when they say, walk as if it's so.
Mhm.
Activates it so. You have to literally feel that in your life and your energy. And when you do that, your nervous system actually kind of reinforces that. And then the other people around you and the universe responds to that energy. This is
Exactly.
also why when even because sometimes it's easier to feel a negative thing, but even like say when you're in poverty, it's easy to kind of just feel sad and sulk and keep saying, um, I'm broke or I don't have this, I don't have that. And if I'm being honest, because the universe doesn't know good or bad, it doesn't know even positive or negative. It just knows whatever you're doing. So if you're
Mhm.
over here in that mindset, it's thinking, oh, this person wants to be poor. I'm gonna give them more. Because it's what you're feeling. It's what you're putting out there. So just change the mindset. Once you go back to what we talked about before, change that mindset, change the pattern, then it'll automatically change the emotion.
Exactly. I like to say that the universe doesn't, that you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. You
Yes,
manifest
exactly.
what you tell the universe that you are, what your energy puts out, what your vibration is.
Yes. And then
Mhm.
before we move forward, I would like to say that one important thing to do during this time, during the new moon in Cancer, which would be July 14th, I got an ancestral reading, which was very revealing to me like a couple of days ago. You can get an ancestral reading. You can do an ancestral healing session. You could even go somewhere like ancestry.com. You can ask your family about your ancestors. Um, and you can even do your own kind of meditations. I know the one meditation I like, well, there's one meditation you can do. I don't really like to do these kind of meditations, but it's where you just kind of sit, imagine your roots and the core go into the ground and invite all the energies that came before you and invite you to be here. I only say I don't do that because I'm an active mystic. I like more active energy. I don't always like sitting in trance states.
Mhm.
But so the one that I prefer to do is, well, you take like just a bowl of water, because again, water holds memory. Bless the water, set an intention with the water to say, I open space for my ancestors to come through and just drink the water. Or you can kind of just wash your face with the water. And then that energy just leaves it open throughout the day. Um, and also your homework. If you know your astrology chart, or we think we talked before about getting an app for it, learn where Cancer is in your chart at this time. That would be very important to know where your specific ancestral memory is. Like for example, mine is in my eighth house. So during this time, which is also kind of interesting, the eighth house is a water house, but this is like the house is ruled by Scorpio. So this is going to be about taboo things, about inheritances, and kind of everything that was hidden and undercover. And
Mm.
that's what's going to be coming up for me at that time.
So you are in the West.
Yeah. Literally.
Well, what does that mean, for like anybody else? Like if for instance, I'm a Cancer rising. So what does that mean for the Cancer to be in the sun and moon spaces and then I'm a rising?
So for you, you might actually have it easier than anybody because it's
Cool.
your it's your first house. That's the house of the body, the self, the part of you that most easily wants to be expressed. So everything you feel, especially during this time, we say we're going to avoid cryberry. You might cry around this time, or you might get angry. You have to really pay attention to how your emotions come up because they're going to tell you everything. Listen to the messages that come with your feelings. But you are going to be a natural clairsentient. So that means everything you feel, you're going to feel in your actual body.
Mhm.
So pay attention to even if you just get an ache or a pain, know, oh, this is a message. Something is happening. Something is going on. Even if it's not you, something somewhere is happening.
So the homework then is to figure out where Cancer is in your chart, which house it's in. Uh,
Mhm.
and then, of course, you can Google like what that house is about, and that's how you know
Mhm.
that Cancer is working in this particular month for you.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yep.
I'm just gonna tell everyone in my house that Dwight told me that for the I can just say everything that I feel. I just express it.
Awesome.
Give myself permission.
I love it. I approve this message.
Cool.
Um, so after that, this is going to be, and I kind of feel like this is the energy that you were kind of getting at. So after that, on July 14th, we have on July 20th, Pluto opposes Jupiter. So what this means is it's going to put an important dynamic on personal expression versus the collective. This is
Mm,
going to be how other people are influencing you, and are you letting that or not? And that's going to actually go back to happen at the exact same time that Mars conjuncts Uranus in Gemini. And that is going to be where the real erratic energy happens. So before I get into that real quick, the important of all this Cancer energy was preparing you. It's telling you that you need to understand where you are emotionally because a lot of chaotic energy is about to happen. And if you let it happen around you, it's going to affect you internally. The homework that you need to be doing is try to develop an internal sanctuary for yourself so that all this external energy won't be happening. Because specifically the Mars Uranus one in Gemini. Gemini is already a chaotic energy, just kind of just goes wherever. And then Mars is the sign of the planet of action, and Uranus is the planet of rebellion. So when you have those two together, what's happening in the world around you, even as we already know, there's a lot of things happening right now around us. That outside noise is going to be influencing everything right now. So it's important to really meditate, know yourself, know who you are. Don't let all the outside energy, outside noise happen. Same thing with the Jupiter opposing Pluto. You do not want all this outside energy, these power dynamics, these things and these people telling you who you are and trying to get you off your game.
perfect. I loved internal sanctuary
Yes.
because the more you know about yourself and who you are, the less all of the external noise matters. It doesn't like sink in to those depths. You
Hmm.
can just kind of let it wash over the surface.
Yep. Exactly. And luckily, all that kind of prepares us for July 22nd, where we enter Leo season. This is going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. We love Leos. Leos is the sign of expression, of performance, of just taking center stage. And that's what all of this Cancer energy, actually, that's what everything was preparing us for. We're already halfway through the year. And you finally trying to learn who you are, understanding who you are, understanding your shadow, understanding who is for you, what's against you, who you want to be. By the time you get to Leo, it's like now you need to step in who you are, actually take center stage in your life. And this is very important because Gemini, I also said expression, but Gemini is a different type of expression. Gemini is more like talk to talk. This is like where you're posting on social media. This is where you're trying to tell people, this is what I do, this or that. But the thing about that kind of energy is you can't always see what's really happening behind the veil. When people do all that stuff, you don't know what's really happening, what's really going on.
Mhm.
So Leo is the walk energy. This is the one where you're actually performing it. This is where you're actually taking center stage. You're responsible for everything. You are telling yourself how it is, telling other people how it is, and people can see the results of it. They don't have to question it. And Leo is authentic expression. And that is the very different thing. It is because you already had Sagittarius and full moon. That was you trying to realize your truth. Now you're walking in that truth. That is, whether this is good, bad, ugly, I'm going to own it. And it's going to look good on me because look at me.
Yes.
And then at this time, just a day later, Mercury finally gets out of retrograde. It goes direct, still in Cancer because The important thing that I love about when it goes from Cancer to Leo is Cancer is all about emotions and feeling. But Leo is about heart centered passion. Leo rules the fifth house of romance, of joy, of dating, of children, of playfulness. And it, organ wise, it rules the heart. This rules the heart chakra. This is literally being able to take all the emotions of Cancer and use it with fire and express it to its highest expression. And because it's heart centered, you feel it. You know it's true. You know it's authentic. And people love you for it.
I love that. I really do love that. I feel like this is going to be a really, really good season between
Yes.
what we got to with the treasure and the depths and the power of Cancer into the authenticity and joy and playfulness of Leo. I feel like
Mhm.
these energies are going to flow very beautifully together. It's almost like we get more levity
Mhm.
here because it's been pretty big building and learning and discovering, and you're plunging all the way to the depths right before coming out to shine. So it does feel like this, it feels like an emergence is the word
Mhm.
that's coming.
Yes, I definitely agree. The final form of the phoenix.
Uh-oh. Okay. Phoenix
and
energy.
and then after that, because this is going to be where that Leo really is very important, that energy. So on July 26th, we have the nodes, the lunar nodes. They change expression. This is going to be where South Node goes to Leo and North Node goes into Aquarius. And whenever the nodal axis changes, this is a complete change globally for fate and destiny for like the entire world
Ooh.
because all of the eclipses change. And that's very important because at the beginning of half the year, the eclipses were all centered on Aries Libra energy. That was all about, again, self versus the other, your identity versus how you relate to other people and how that affects your energy. Now the shift goes into Leo Aquarius. Leo is more of, again, how I act in my own life, my own creative expression. I'm taking center stage in my own life and where I stand. And Aquarius is other people, where you stand in communities, in groups, in friendships. So it's literally taking what you learned and expanding it. Because when it was Aries Libra, it was you versus one on one. Now
Mhm.
it's saying how do you stand when it comes to multiple people in your actual community? And that is very, very important because I feel like during the first half of the year, we were very centered on with all the Aries energy telling yourself, you gotta choose you. And we know or you know what's gonna happen when you choose you. That means sometimes you're gonna have to cut people off. You're going to have to weed people out. You're gonna have to read things out. You're gonna have to change things. You're gonna have to become better. You're gonna have to go inward. You're gonna have to do all these things to try and reach the better version of yourself. But in the process of that, it's easy to become either selfish, jaded, sometimes you can become depressed. Sometimes you can feel lonely. So I think this beautiful Leo Aquarius energy comes in to tell yourself you did that for a bigger purpose. The goal was never to be alone. The goal was never to feel like you have to be the only one in your life. The goal was to change your frequency so the right people can come in. You want to find your community, find your group, find and align with the people who are going to help you get to where you want to be in life. And that was the goal all along for the next half of the year. Because when those change, that's going to pretty much be the themes going on in the world for like the next 18 months. This is going to affect us again to 2028. So
Mhm.
that's the whole thing of what we're going to be focusing on right now. Pretty much, how does the new version of yourself fit in the collective of the world, of everything that's going on? How does all these energies and what you bring to the table help heal? How does it help expand? How does it help growth? How does it help anybody, including yourself? Just how is it helping? And pretty much where do you stand in the collective?
And I feel like so many people, especially in spiritual communities, are really looking for community, for people who they
Mhm.
can connect with because they've outgrown their personal spaces or realized that they were wounded relationships to begin with, so I think we are all looking for that community piece. So it's encouraging to know that that's actually coming and it's written in the stars.
Yeah.
And another thing that came to me just looking at the Leo Aquarius energy and how it's a global change towards destiny. So if we wanted to apply this towards world leaders and politics and things like that, the Aquarius being the humanitarian and the Leo being that authenticity kind of energy, it almost feels like there's a big wave of change over the world and leadership and how the collective views leadership, because now it's more focused on let's be real, let's see the truth, let's be authentic. And actually live that way and make change and focus on the people and focus on the communities and focus on humanitarian efforts versus whatever the hell else we've been focused on for the past forever. So less about the power dynamics, if you will, and more about the people. So I'm excited for this change.
Yeah. Actually, that makes a lot of sense, especially because Pluto is also an Aquarius, and Pluto is going. Yeah, actually, around that exact time, Pluto goes retrograde while it's in Aquarius. So all those power energies are actually going to turn inward. So everyone's going to be looking at themselves when it comes to these things. So that is interesting.
You can't make this stuff up, guys. It's
No.
all just star map.
And then once again, expanding on that, the last part of the month, we enter our full moon in Aquarius.
Okay.
And that's pretty much just going to expand on what was already being coming up because we have all these other energies that's in Leo and in Aquarius. Jupiter is also going to be in Leo at this time. So we're going to know that when you step into your authentic power and who you are, you're going to be blessed. Jupiter loves to bless. This is the planet of luck and expansion. So all these blessings are going to come to you. And then we have the full moon in Aquarius saying, once again, what's being illuminated at this time, because that's what full moons are about, illumination, periods of kind of cultivation, trying to figure out what's going on. You're going to be focused on how you stand in the community. The important thing, because it's still illumination, is as things come up, you might also realize what communities aren't for you. And because, again, Leo loves to just be a part of things. Don't get stuck in the wrong crowd. And I'm talking for me. That means even if you as you discovered yourself and you get this whole witchy aesthetic, don't just join every cult that wants you. I would want to do that, but it's not always for you.
Cults are bad, guys. Don't lose your identity. Find your identity and find a community that helps you express that.
Yes.
The funny thing is Aquarius is also one I love to pick on. Some of my best friends are Aquarius. Sorry, guys. They're so difficult for me to communicate with. I feel like they have this what's the word I'm looking for? They have this veil up all the time of smoke show. You can't quite see what
Yes.
you can't quite connect. I don't know, but they have this smoke bomb thing happening sometimes.
I was always told once before that Aquariuses are kind of like the air sign version of Scorpios. It's just you can't pin them down. I mean, they're ruled by two completely different planets. It's Saturn, which is already about karmic responsibilities, but it's also Uranus, which is the rebellion. And it just naturally Aquarius is just so funny where it's just I'm gonna stay the cost, I'm gonna do this, but at the same time I'm gonna beat the status quo. I'm gonna be different. I just can't be pinned down.
That makes sense because I've always seen that because they're the opposite sign to the Leo.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always heard it described as if they were the Leo shadow. So they have a lot of the similar traits to Leo, but in a different way. I don't know. So but I never saw that personally. I guess I can see that, but then it's just so the Scorpio thing that makes more sense. The air you. That makes more sense. Aquarius is like the one you can't pin down. You can't quite figure it out.
Yes.
You're like, what are you and why are you here? When you say they're the alien of the zodiac, in my
Yep,
opinion.
exactly. So my nodes is actually on the Leo Aquarius axis. So this is gonna be very personal for me. I have Aquarius on my south node and Leo on my north node. And for those who don't know, the thing about the lunar nodes is your south node is energy that you were born with. This is your natural talents. These are things that you came into this life with. And if you believe in reincarnation, of course, these are energies that you have taken over lifetimes. And so it's natural to you. But the thing about that is there's no growth in being comfortable. So that's what the North Node comes in. You already have a habit that you want, which is for me, Aquarius. That means naturally in past lives, I was known to always want to be part of the group. I was always lost in the lost in the sauce. I was just always the community worker. I was just wanted to say, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do from the background, just get it done. That's it. Um, More calculated, more cold, not as emotional, just getting the work done. In this life, as my North Node is in Leo, I am being told that I'm meant to step out of the goal of just being the worker. I'm meant to actually be a leader. I'm meant to be a revolutionary. I'm meant to take center stage in wherever I choose to do it in. But that's what I'm meant to do. I'm actually meant to do it from a heart centered point of view. I'm actually meant to care about what I do. And that's my goal in this life.
Beautiful. I love that.
Oh.
Well, is there anything else going on for us in Cancer season? And by the way, if you have a hard time, just call me. Be like, Mary, the nodes are getting me. It's time. Talk through this.
um, no, I think this energy is might be one of the easiest to work with. You know, the whole month starts with more inward, just kind of sitting with the energy, and then just goes into expressing it, being authentic. That means don't focus too much on what I gotta do, what I gotta do. Just be, exist. And that's it. It comes to you naturally after that.
So the easiest month, and I really like it. We're going into the depths. In preparation for next month, I'm just letting you know there's a huge battle between July Leos and August Leos, like the Leos. And
Leo, yes.
so there's a internal war that happens here with like the 3 stages of Leo, or even simplified to just 2 stages of Leo. So you're gonna have to prep for that one for next month.
Yes.
The lions are going to war for queen. Okay? All right. Thanks so much for joining us for Cancer season. You guys pull out your crabs and go to the depths of the ocean, find your ancestral treasures. This is a really good message, and we're excited to have you back again in a month. Where'd you go?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at my cat. Yes.
You got Aquarius in there somewhere. I'm like, we're excited to have you back. And he's like,
No, I was just looking at the fact that she left when the show ended, but it's more like I think she realized now that she's not getting food, she doesn't want me anymore.
I don't want it anyways.
But yes, glad. No, what we said, not glad to have you back. What do we say?
You're coming back.
I'm coming back.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's some weird energy today. I'm going to forgive you, okay? Everything's fine. Lord bless you. Blessings on you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.